Now, because TikTok is a certain way, we can't actually say the term of the thing that we're talking about today, but we're going to refer to them as happy things. And we're going to be talking about what the Bible teaches about happy things. If you still haven't picked up on what we're talking about yet, without me being able to mention it or show it or actually talk about what it is, you're a little slow, but that's okay. These happy things that we're discussing are that which can be concealed upon a person, perhaps, maybe, in order to defend the mass population. Now, these are wonderful, wonderful things. I highly recommend these things, and they are biblically commanded. See, not them specifically, not like specifically the happy things, but more so what I'm referring to whenever I'm talking about these happy things being biblically commanded is that we are commanded to possess the best equipment and the best tools to be able to defend ourselves. So, as an example of the best tools to be able to defend ourselves, we're going to need things like these always on us to ensure that we are capable of protecting the population around us, not just ourselves, but those around us. If there's an event of some bad person trying to do bad things, it is a Christian's moral responsibility to do everything they can to defend the innocent. Now, there's going to be different ranking systems on there, where are you supposed to defend yourself first or random people? Obviously, yourself first. Are you supposed to defend your family or random people? Obviously, your family. But say you're in a situation, and in this situation, just hypothetically, theoretically, say that you're going to need to use something in order to protect yourself. In that case scenario, you should in fact be ready and able to do so, not only equipped but also trained. See, Jesus told his disciples in Luke 22 that if you do not have a sword, sell your cloak to buy one. And what that means is quite literally, if you don't have the most effective means of protecting yourself, sell the clothing off of your back in order to get one. That's how important it is. Now, going back to the Old Testament, we see many laws in Leviticus and Deuteronomy that are actually giving us the specific information on defending ourselves. And that is very important stuff, where it's talking about you being able to defend yourself even if it leads to the other person's death. If they are trying to harm you, you are allowed to harm them back in order to protect yourself and those around you. So I've given this example a couple times about like if there were a bad person who were to break into my house in order to hurt me or my family or anything like that. I am going to make sure that that person never ever leaves. And I have to say this stuff very nicely, very gently, and I have to do it in a coded way on TikTok. But it's not out of animosity towards that person. It's out of love for my family that I'm going to do anything it takes to protect them. And this is what all men should be like. Men should be capable of protecting above anything else. So if you're not capable of protecting, but you're like able bodied, I urge you to learn how to do so, be it through the means of happy things and being able to use them effectively, or going into something differently, like actually like fighting. So if you don't have a background in fighting and like MMA, jiu-jitsu, something like that, something good, get that. Learn how to fight a little bit. You just need to know the basics of how to fight. That way, in case you ever need to, you're going to be capable of it. And that is like one of the best things for your mental health is to fight, is to train, is to actually like go and beat up on other dudes. It is wonderful for both men and women alike. So I highly recommend doing that stuff. But the great equalizer in this world is a happy thing. So for a woman, there is not a single chance that you are going to be able to defend yourself against a man just hand to hand. It's not real. That's what you see in the movies. So unless you are a professional MMA fighter going against someone who has absolutely no knowledge in how to fight, then you're going to be able to defend yourself pretty okay. But just say that you are female, but you are a professional UFC fighter. That means that the average male who has a background in fighting, so we'll say the average blue to purple belt in jiu-jitsu, is theoretically going to be able to beat that professional female UFC fighter. Typically, not always, but typically, just because biology comes into play heavily. So what I'm saying with this is that for women to carry a happy thing, it is very important for them to be able to carry that and know how to use it effectively. That way, if ever a man tries to harm them, they're going to have that equalizer that means, doesn't matter how strong he is, she's going to be able to put him down, and that is going to fix the problem, and it is going to keep her safe. more specifically whenever she has kids with her, because oftentimes the woman is going to have the kids with her more often than. Now, obviously, if it's the husband, the wife, and the kids, the husband's duty is to protect all of them. But in the case of it just being that the mom is with the kids alone, she needs to be able to have a way to not only protect herself, but protect those who are most important to her. So, this is something that is not just a gender based thing, it's not just a man's protective role, it is both. It is very important for both men and women in today's society to know how to protect yourself. So, if you live in America where you're allowed to have and carry happy things, then you need to actually do that. You need to learn how to use it. You need to be efficient with it. You need to be safe with it. And you need to make sure that you are ready and willing to bam, 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 in order to save your children or to save your husband, save your family, save your wife. It doesn't matter, in order to protect those around you. So every second of every single day, I'm carrying. Now, specifically, whenever I am golfing, which is what I'm doing today, I carry a slightly smaller one, which is the one that I just put on. See, the normal one that I would carry, I can't really mention what it is because of the video, but the normal one that I carry is a more full size. We'll say it's a G19. Okay, we'll say that, and then we'll say that the one that I'm currently carrying, that I carry basically exclusively when I'm golfing, just because it's so much smaller, it's easier to move your body. We'll say that that one is a P365 made by a SIG company. But either way, that is what I carry just because it's smaller, it's more comfortable, it's easier whenever I'm doing something that's not typically going to require that. But whenever I'm doing that, I'm carrying a spare Happy device in a little pocket connected to a Neomag. A Neomag is a little magnetic clip that keeps it in your pocket where it's easily accessible. It's not very easy to put back in place, but it is very easy to get to, which is what you'd need. If you run out, then you're going to need to be able to switch out and go to another round. But the entire point is that you should just be capable of protecting yourself. So whether that's by means of something like that, or it's by means of a different kind of tool. So like on the door of my truck, there's a little can of Happy Spray that is sitting right next to a spare Happy device for the typical everyday carry. And next to that, we have a little flashlight, and we have a little puncture device, a little wireless hole puncher, if you will. But these things are important to have just in the event of someone trying to harm you. So with the world getting crazier and crazier every single day, more violent every single day, it is imperative that you not only know how to protect yourself, but you actually take on the moral responsibility that the Bible commands you to have to protect yourself and those around you. So if you have not a sword, sell your cloak to buy one. Or, to put it into a more modern context, if you have not a happy thing, sell your Xbox to buy one. I hope this makes sense. Let me know what's next. Follow me on X. Go check me out on Patreon, YouTube, everything like that. God bless.